Hey there, YouTube friends. Dustin Bellinger here, and it's time I kind of caught up on some pickups here. I've got some stuff I've been meaning to show, and then some other stuff that just came in, so it's a good time to kind of just get caught up. So here we go. Picked up some new Husker football autographs, starting with one here I've been trying to pick up recently is Stanley Morgan Jr., former Husker wide receiver. Was draft eligible this year, but somehow did not get drafted, and I was rather surprised. This is like the first time that no Husker player has been selected in the draft since like 1962 or something like that. It's been a very, very long time, and I kind of didn't see it happen because I just assumed that he would get drafted in the middle rounds somewhere. But it didn't happen. He did sign a free agent contract with the Bengals, I believe. So my guess is that he's gonna do well there because I think he's, an underrated player. And here a couple of other former Husker autographs. One, a former first-round pick. This is Fabian Washington. And, this was drafted in the first round by the Raiders. I believe it was somewhere, this was 2005. I think it was right around then. And, this was typical Al Davis type draft choices. It's like, hey, we need a defensive back. Who has the best 40 time? And it was Fabian Washington. Let's kind of ignore any other aspects of, and some deficiencies that might be in his game. Mainly, he was pretty short. And we'll just take him in the first round because, hey, all we care about is the 40 time. That was just the way Al Davis did stuff. And, he played for a while there in the NFL, but never really measured up to being a first-round pick. He definitely was a guy that I saw probably being taken later. And this one here, Keo Craver, he had, a rather short career, but played for a few years here in the NFL. Really liked him. This one's numbered down to 850. But all of them that, at least made it to the NFL, I kind of like to try and grab an autograph of. And I remember their careers, in college, and certainly whether they go on to the NFL or not, or do a whole lot, you still have good memories of what they did as a part of their teams there on the college level. Then a couple of pickups from a Facebook fire sale. Picked up this Javy Baez relic. And a couple of Trout cards. Got here, this one's out of Gypsy Queen. And then we got one here out of Donruss. This is numbered to 249. Millville Meteor for Trout. And also out of 2019 Donruss Action All-Stars. Got some cool sparkly. I normally don't buy a whole lot of unlicensed cards, but I kind of fall for some of the shiny stuff, and this kind of all qualified here. Got this Nolan Arenado Crusade, once again, unlicensed, but very shiny, and a great player. And then this Javy Baez Donruss Elite Series, numbered to 349. And that is just ridiculous shiny. Just couldn't resist. So I picked up all of those on that fire sale. Let's see here. What else? I won my very first Razz. And it was put on by Sick Wicked Sports here on YouTube. Check him out. Tyler, once again, thank you. And thank you to everybody that bought lines in this Razz and put them towards helping me win the card. I mean, that's, a really nice gesture when people do that for you. To get PC card here. This was Chris Bryant rookie card. This card's kind of gone down in value just recently. Last year was a tough year with injuries, and he's off to a bit of a slow start, but I got faith he's going to get it together, and the Cubs are back in first place now, so here's hoping that's to stay, and things are back on track. And Tyler sent a few extras as well that I wanted to say thank you for. It was really cool. A couple of Mark Pryor relic cards, and then this manufactured relic of Anthony Rizzo. So all cool stuff for my Cubs PC. So genuinely appreciate the extras. You didn't need to do that, but very kind of you. And then we get into some of the graded purchases. Some of these are a little bit older, but haven't had a chance to really show them off. This one here, 1978 Laughlin Long Ago Black Stars. This is Hall of Famer Hilton Smith. It was a Negro League star. A little bit off center, top to bottom is the big thing, and obviously with these black edges, it's very prone to chipping, and you can see just a couple of light chips, tiny bit of a print defect right there, but probably didn't even account for the print defect. I'm sure it was mostly just a couple edge chips in the off center that got it the 7 more than anything. But a very nice card, and these are hard to come by, the 78 ones of this Laughlin set. He did a set in 74 that had a lot of star power in it, and then the 78 set, it didn't have near as many big stars in it, and so the cards from that set are a little bit harder to get. There's only a handful of Hall of Famers that are part of that set, as opposed to the 74 set, which has got 24 or so. But anyway, it's a one more Hall of Famer and PSA that I can kind of knock off a checklist. Couple of other cards here. Start with the most recent. Got a 1967 Topps Hank Aaron in a PSA 3. Got some issues, but hey, it's Hank. Definitely take what I can get on those. And next up, we got a 1955 Bowman of Early Win, a PSA 5, another Hall of Famer. And from the same set, picked up myself a Richie Ashburn, also in a 5. Really nice looking. I don't have enough Ashburn in my collection. I'd really like to add more of him, because he is a native Nebraskan, so definitely a guy that is in my wheelhouse, so to speak, of guys I would like to collect. It's just, I get pulled in so many directions sometimes with collecting. I don't always get everything that, hey, you think you'd like to collect a lot of. But I do have a few, and definitely be hoping to add more in the future. And next up, I got one from the 1953 Bowman. This is the black and white set. This came after Bowman basically ran out of money making the Bowman color cards. So for, later in the summer, they just they released a set in black and white rather than keep building on the color set. And this one here is Hall of Famer Bob Levin. Got a 4 with a mark qualifier. And you can kind of see, looks like it's a little bit of writing that took place. Doesn't show up quite on camera, but I do see it in person. There was some, you can see the indentations, like where somebody's written a little bit in it. Not very much, but it was enough to get that mark qualifier. But hey, brings it down in price a bit, so that's always a plus. And this one right here, another Hall of Famer, and this was actually a set I didn't have an example of. The 1949 Bowman set, 48 Bowman, which was their first year, was black and white, and then they had a colorized version then in 1949. Colorization's kind of crude on it, but it makes it a brighter, more colorful set. And this is a nice one here. This is Hall of Famer Lou Boudreau. And then here we go. This is a Hall of Famer that I was able to mark off the checklist. I did not have a card of him from his playing days. I had a 1954 Topps card of him as a manager, but I didn't have anything from his playing days, so happy to get that. There's where the mark qualifier on this one comes from. And it doesn't show up on camera very well, but there you can kind of see it. It has a pretty significant crease there, which is why it's a 1, but also a little paper loss right there. But just from a presentation standpoint, from like right there, it's a very nice looking card. And like I said, checks off a Hall of Famer from the checklist. Getting closer on that. Eventually, I'll get to all members of the Hall of Fame, but we still got a ways to go there. And then a couple of cards here. Got this here I bought these next 3 in a lot, and they're these oversized cards. This one here is a J Publishing Photos. So these were like you could purchase these like at the stadiums back then, or you could also order team sets of these by mail. And this one here is Roberto Clemente, so it's part of the Clemente Master set. Checks one off there for me, and this is in a grade of a 6.5. It's a really nice pose. It's about as close as you ever get to a smile out of Clemente on any of his pictures. Kind of that half smile, and also we're not going to look directly at the camera. That was also a thing that is pretty prevalent in a lot of his photos, is he doesn't really do where he makes, that eye contact with the photographer and look directly at the camera. He always tends to be looking slightly away to one direction or the other. And this here is a Frank Robinson, and this is a 1967 Dexter Press. These you would redeem your Coke bottle caps. You could send in a number of bottle caps to receive a team set of these premiums. So this one here, a nice one, and it's in a grade of a 6.5 as well. And then this one right here, Willie Mays, a grade of a 6. I have 2 other copies of this card, both raw, and one wasn't in this nice of shape, but was in okay shape, and the other one was in pretty nice shape, but it had a pinhole right in the top of it, and I gave that one to Big D for life because I knew he was a Willie Mays collector, and I thought he might appreciate it. And I normally, if I've got duplicates of a card, I'd happy to try and send them off to somebody else. And I wish I'd known I was going to acquire this card before I sent him the one with the pinhole, because if I'd known I was going to get this graded one, I'd have sent him the little bit nicer one that I kept for myself in that case. But in any case, those are my pickups. I've gone on for quite a while here, so everybody, I hope you're all doing well. Hey, last I checked, I was above 400 subscribers. If I've managed to stay above that point, I think I'm going to do a contest here in the not too distant future. So be on the lookout for that, maybe here in a week or two. I'm also way overdue to release another video from my Hall of Fame showcase series. I need to get for the letter H out. It's way overdue, but I've just been incredibly busy and haven't had a chance to do it. But I'm going to try and get that out hopefully this weekend. So anyway, everybody take care, and I will talk to you again another time. Goodbye.